Emotions, they're complicated, they're difficult. Many people don't like emotions. They feel out of control or they feel embarrassed by them. I often have people talk with me, if they start crying, they apologize. I'm sorry, I don't want to cry. We don't like emotions. Today I want to share a principle with you that is an important first step in dealing with emotions, especially the troubling ones. But let's start with an illustration. Imagine a scenario where your friend Charlemagne calls you and asks you for a favor. She wants you to help her organize her finances before her taxes are due. You don't have a lot of time, but you genuinely want to help. So you do some prep work and you set a coffee meeting to sit and talk. The time for the meeting comes and Charlemagne doesn't show up. 15 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by. How do you feel at this point? Angry. Your pride is offended. You're frustrated. Why are you experiencing these emotions? Well, it's your thoughts. It's your conclusions. Right? You've concluded that you did all this work and she stood you up. She didn't have the decency to contact you and tell you that she couldn't make it. You didn't have the time in the first place, but you rearranged your life to help her out. Ugh, slacker. I want you to notice that every new thought produced some negative emotions. With every new thought, negative emotions grow like wildfire. Later that day, you're talking to Bill. You're still a little salty about being stood up. And you're just about to vent to Bill about all this work you did for Charlemagne, and then she didn't even call or show up. But before you get the words out, Bill says, "Hey, did you hear about Char? She had a really busy morning. She was rearranging a bunch of things for some important meeting. She's been working really hard to prepare for this meeting. And then on the way to that meeting, she had a bad car wreck. I mean, the ambulance, even her phone got smashed in the wreck. She's going to be okay, but man, it really shook her up." Now, how do you feel? Did your feelings change? And if they did, why? I'm Dave Crandall, and I started Your Next Steps Life Coaching so I could equip and motivate people like you to take your next step in whatever areas you're struggling with. Today, I want to talk about the next steps in your emotional development. Many people struggle with troubling emotions: worry, anger, depression, hopelessness, you name it. This year's American Freshman Survey showed that the emotional health of incoming college freshmen is at an all-time low. This may be true of you as well. So let me offer an idea to you that has helped many people, and I hope it helps you. Here's the principle I want to share. Feelings, attitudes, emotions often flow from our thoughts. Conclusions, convictions, interpretations usually or often produce emotional responses. So if you drew negative conclusions about the meeting with Charlemagne, then you experience some negative emotions. Negative conclusions, negative interpretations will produce negative emotions like anger and critical spirit, the behavior of gossip. The principle also works for positive emotions. If you had focused on Charlemagne's humility to seek help, the idea that she values you enough and trusts you enough to ask you, if you had focused on some of those positive conclusions, you might have formed positive emotions like love and respect, empathy. Philosophers and psychologists call this the primacy of the intellect. When things start with the mind, they start with the intellect. Now, this is not always true. Listen, emotions are complicated, so this is not the only method to deal with troubling emotions. But often, if you identify and change the root thoughts, the root convictions, the root interpretations, you can change the resulting emotions. It seems like the message of our culture is very much the primacy of the emotions. If you feel it, it must be right. Go with your gut. Follow your heart, right? Others would argue that your gut feelings are influenced and determined, at least partly, by our thoughts. If you have the wrong thoughts, you can have the wrong emotions. So let me summarize. We're taught in places to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. to take every thought captive. Once you have better conclusions and better convictions, you will probably experience better emotions. So let's get practical. How can you use this premise of the intellect principle in your life? Well, when you're experiencing troubling emotions, before giving into them, before venting them, before letting them catch fire, search for the thoughts and the convictions beneath them. Are your conclusions accurate? There may be other data that you haven't seen or haven't heard yet. This might require the help of a thoughtful and insightful friend who can help you work through some of your thoughts. If you want to develop more positive emotions, if you want to become more loving or more content, I recommend you spend more time thinking about positive benefits, the positive aspects of a person or a situation. Try it. It has helped me a lot. I hope this helps you. If it does, leave your comments below or visit our website at yournextstepscoaching.com.